This is Patrick Richardson reporting for the Cherokee County News Advocate and SEKvoice.com.
You don't know all my concerns because I wrote them to your office in a letter which you glossed over. You said, instead of answering each question I had, you said, let us generally explain why we did this. You didn't address one question that I had. And then you wrote me a letter and said, your number of questions is up. Basically, I can read it if you want to hear it, but we're done answering questions.
Why do you have all these regulations? If, take for instance, there's a regulation in there that says before they can open, they were supposed to have a barrier or a fence. This was brought to your attention in June, and it was September or October before they put a fence halfway across the east end, and there's still no fence all the way around this area. Well, why do you have these regulations when you don't enforce them?
The purpose of the regulations are to be protective of human health and the environment.
I would think having a fence around this area would be protecting human health and environment. If they don't have a fence around it, that means anybody can come in. Why? I mean, when you state in the papers that Mr. Beechner is very familiar with, he ran the landfill in Parsons for 9 years. He got the same violation every year for 8 years in a row, and nothing was ever done. So he knew how to play the game. He can look at this regulation and say, they're not going to do anything about it, and you have it. There was a regulation in there about signage before you can open a landfill. This was brought to your attention. 4 or 5 months later, they finally put a sign up that still isn't, according to your regulations, it doesn't have all the information that's supposed to be provided on it, and you all say, that's fine. You sat in our house in June and told us this landfill would be inspected 2 to 3 times a week. Now, if that's true, how can all these violations happen over a 7-month period of time if there's supposed to be that many inspections and nothing ever be done about it?
Initially, they were inspected at least twice a week as the...
And these violations were there and nothing was done?
In the beginning.
I'm not...
Now don't say that, because I have emails from you stating that this problem was recognized in June, and in September he still hadn't done it, and you were congratulating him because he did say he was going to do it.
The fence?
Pardon?
The fence.
The fence.
Yeah.
And there's still not a fence there.
The object of that fence is to restrict access. If in the inspector's judgment it adequately restricts access, it's an adequate fence.
But how was he able to open it without a fence being there and keep it open until the middle of September without a fence being there, when one of the requirements to open the landfill is to have a fence?
I cannot address that.
This is